Okay, I got the usual going on, it should be a relaxing day here because I got my coffee next to me as per usual. I'm just hanging out, ready to talk with all of you. Should be a good time. But I just went and essentially frustrated myself by going to read about Borderlands 3. And that's what the video is going to be about today. And I did it on purpose. I just went and read people talking about Borderlands 3 because I knew what I would find and I disagree with it. And it frustrates me every time, and with my friends when I hear it, I can just easily just set off onto a tangent about it. And now I'm here today to attack it in a YouTube video. We're talking about Borderlands 3 and how everybody's always talking about the story and this and that. I don't get the hate for Borderlands 3. I really, really don't. I love Borderlands 3. So, if you want to hear what my thoughts are, if you want to come in here and just absolutely argue the crap out of what I have to say, because I feel like majority of people are probably going to disagree, but if you want to do all that, stick around. Welcome one, welcome all. I am your STATISTACS. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, all that good stuff. And if you enjoy my content and you want to, keep in touch a little bit more, I have my social medias linked down below, my Twitter and Instagram. And also I stream. I don't have a consistent schedule, but if you go, also linked down below is my Twitch. You can hit follow there and you'll get alerted whenever I go live. So with that, let's just get right into it. Oh man. All right. I purposefully went online and read what people said about Borderlands 3 because I knew that I would disagree with it, that I would hate it, that I'd want to throw a wrench at someone. I knew it. So if I come across strong, if I come across hateful, I don't hate you because you have opinions on a video game. However, I will make fun of you, because I have my opinions and you have yours. And you can definitely go down into the comments and say whatever you want. Be nice to each other. You can say whatever you want about me. Well, within reason, nothing illegal. But anyways, I don't understand people's mentality. I don't understand the reasoning behind Borderlands 3, Borderlands 2 has better story, this and that, yada yada. Borderlands 3, I get the story is like mid, bad, whatever you want to say. I really don't care. I'm not that much of a story person. I can acknowledge when a game has good story. I have games that I do play for story. I play Persona, but I can acknowledge when a game isn't like revolving around story and that's not the focal point of the game. And with Borderlands 3, it's not. So I don't know why consumers have made such a big deal about the story. It's kind of silly to me. But even so, when has Borderlands ever has story? It's like, I feel like a ton of new players came into the mix and just started like hopping on this wagon of what was being said, because so many people say Borderlands 2 is better because like it has better story. Like, it's just so many people say it. And what is the story for Borderlands 2? If you can give me more than the story is to go kill Handsome Jack, I'd love to hear it. It's like the story is just it's just as simple as go kill Handsome Jack, and like people only say it because Handsome Jack is the villain and they love Handsome Jack, so they say the story is better, but it's really the villain is better, which I totally agree with that. Handsome Jack as a villain is 100% better. He's one of the best villains in video game history, probably. Like, he's just one of the best. But if you don't look at story face value and you look through lore, which people clearly don't do, because a lot of people talk about the story and they just don't mention or forgot or never looked at things like the Iridian writings, the Typhon logs, the Echo logs that are all around the maps. Like, if you listen to all that stuff, a lot of it is really interesting info if you're a story person. But the funny thing is that most story people don't care to put in the effort to go find the actual info. They just play the story and take it for face value. And Borderlands has always been more environmental storytelling. Even in Borderlands 1, all the way back to that game. Borderlands 1, the story was absolutely less existent, even less existent than 2 and 3. It was literally go talk to people and you have no idea why. You just have no idea why. But if you grab the echo logs that Tanis has laying around maps, if you grab those and actually listen to them in Borderlands 1, they tell a story and you learn a lot. You learn about how she found the first vault or whatever, and like how she's like planning to open it. You learn all this stuff. You learn that she was on Pandora for some insane amount of days completely alone, and that's why she's insane. If you actually pay attention to environmental storytelling things, like, and I get that isn't everybody's favorite way of storytelling, and it's not always the best way, but it's always the way that Borderlands has done it, and yet so many people either don't know, don't understand, or forgot that that's how it is. Because Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, Borderlands 3, it's always how it's been. The exception is definitely the pre-sequel. The pre-sequel, although it still has a lot of that environmental storytelling with the echo logs and all that stuff, it actually is just a game that completely gives Borderlands 2 a story. If you haven't played pre-sequel, it is probably my second favorite Borderlands. Now that right there is probably when most people just shut off my video and say you're an idiot. But if you play the pre-sequel, you'll understand how, if you love Borderlands 2 and you love Handsome Jack, I can't see why you wouldn't play the pre-sequel. It only makes sense to do so because it completely backs up his story. It gives his story a purpose. Like it fills in the gaps of his story, which is basically all of Borderlands 2 is the gap, and the pre-sequel is the fill. Especially the DLC. You gotta play that DLC. If you don't, you're doing yourself so dirty. Anybody that just completely put this game away, like threw it under their bed and said after, so many people got to, I don't know, I can't remember the first boss's name, but I feel like so many people just got to him and that was where they stopped playing the game. I don't know why, but I've heard numerous people say it, but it's just like, that game was so good. It filled in so much of the story gap, and if people are so obsessed with story, then that is a game that should definitely be played by you. It doesn't have endgame really because the company like imploded and didn't get a whole lot of care and love that the other Borderlands have gotten, which is really sad because if it had good endgame, it probably would be still today my favorite Borderlands of all time. Now, here's another part of what I don't understand is people come at Borderlands 3 for dodging. If you played the pre-sequel, you understand especially. Because at the end of pre-sequel, actually, you know what? I won't say because I want you guys to go play it. But there's a scene at the end of pre-sequel, if you don't already know. I know the game is old, but I'm not saying it here because I really would like for all of you to play it if you haven't. There is a scene at the end of pre-sequel that essentially hints at a next Borderlands, and Borderlands 3 is not that. It's not. It just went off track. But what people don't see or understand is I think that Borderlands 4 will be the Borderlands we were expecting from the end of pre-sequel. I think Borderlands 3 was a lot of setup. And again, if you go listen to the Iridian logs and stuff like that, I think you'd understand. But there is I think that I don't know why people don't understand that. If people, again, are so for story, you'd think that they understand that sometimes stories have setup to them. I get it, because like I was thrown off. Like Borderlands 3, I was expecting to be the Borderlands that I think everybody was expecting based off of the ending of the pre-sequel, but it wasn't. And so here, like, everybody is just trashing on Borderlands 3 story, which I get it. It's not the best story out there. I'm not raving about it, but I definitely am not going to sit here and call the game shit. Now, I knew I was going to rant about the story a lot, so I knew it was going to have to be a totally separate video. I'm going to talk more about gameplay, endgame, and all that other stuff, because I have heard people say a lot about endgame being too easy, getting legendaries too easy, so much stuff that it's like you clearly are a super casual player and you don't actually know what to aim for with like gear, and you just see legendary and think it's just as good as all the others. There's levels to legendaries. I'm gonna leave it at that because again, I want to make a separate video for it. Okay, now the second controversy of story in Borderlands 3 aside from the overarching story, is of course everybody's favorite character, Ava. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't understand the hate on this character. I mean, I get that she can be like, bratty kid annoying or whatever. Personally, I don't really care. It's just part of her character. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. Is she my favorite character? No. But I'm kind of just indifferent. What I will say is the argument that Ava got Maya killed is absolutely ridiculous. Ava sneaking into there and being there did literally nothing. The twins were going to kill Maya for being there no matter what. They wanted her power. They just wanted her power. They were going to take it. And according to story writing, Lilith is a lot stronger than Maya, and she got taken down super easily. So Maya didn't stand a chance. Like, she's not as strong. She's not. So they were going to overpower her and take that ability and kill her no matter what. Ava being there, Ava standing there, had nothing to do with anything. Like, if you can explain to me how Ava standing in the room existing got Maya killed, I'd love to hear it, but it just doesn't even make sense. Now, the Maya death mourning scene sucked. They should have, if you haven't watched it, you should absolutely do yourself a favor and go watch. There's a cut scene in the menu. They did that update where they added in you can see all the cut stuff from the game, and one of them is a cutscene of after Maya dies. If you haven't seen it, I definitely encourage you to. It is so cool. I know it's not fully animated and stuff, but it's like a storyboard, and it is so fleshed out. It's so cool. And why they didn't go with it, I think, is purely because it's a lot of animation and probably a lot of money and resources and time to do the whole thing and flesh it all out. But it's fully voiced and everything, and it is amazing. They absolutely, I would actually love if they just fully animated it and said, hey guys, this is what actually happened. To be completely honest, I would love that. I would absolutely adore it, because I think it's what should really have happened. It was a proper ceremony and a proper mourning of a character that's been around since 2, and I think, I don't know, just a lot of people liked playing as her and stuff, and that's the attachment we have to her. We don't really have a huge attachment to the character as a personality and stuff. Obviously we saw her in Borderlands 3 with a bit more personality and such, so if you did get attached in that short time, that's cool. But I think a lot of people were more just attached to her as a playable character, and either way, there was probably a little bit of mourning from players, but it was hard to even do because the game didn't really even give you a chance to do it. The game just kind of said, Tannis give terrible speech, and then let's go do the next thing. It was kind of forgotten as soon as it happened. And for anybody thinking Ava's the one being a brat, it's kind of she's the one that's right in that room. She's the one saying, let's just go right after the twins. Let's go get them. We need to stop them. And they're everybody just kind of ignores Ava and just, keeps looking for the vaults or whatever. And it's just hilarious because everybody hates her, and maybe she does it in a bratty way because, again, she's a kid and that's just her character to be a kid. But she's right. She's absolutely right. It's go kill the twins. They're literally putting an entire planet in danger, putting you guys in danger. They stole Lilith's powers. How are you not mad and just want to go at them and kill them? It's just silly. So she is right about that. And she's right about being bratty in that moment because she's upset that Maya was just killed. And now, nobody on the ship seems to even give a crap. It's just funny. So, no, I don't love Ava, but, I mean, she honestly is right on most of that stuff when she's on the ship. She just wants to go right at the twins and all of that, and Lilith is over here no, we need to do all of this stuff because video game story. So that's my thoughts on the story and on Ava. Definitely let me know what you guys think down below. I'm very curious to hear from all of you after me putting everything I think out on the table, and I think what I think of a lot of this stuff is probably going to be very different. I feel like I am definitely the minority when it comes to my opinions on Borderlands 3. So no, it was not my favorite character. I'm very just indifferent with her, to be honest, and I'm kind of interested to see her in a future game and how she turns out to be when she's grown up and stuff, because I think that's what we're gonna see her as in the next Borderlands. So I am very curious to see all of that. But again, no, she's not my favorite character. Honestly, I'll tell you guys, but two of my favorite characters from Borderlands 3 specifically is probably, as non-playables, is probably Traunt, which kind of doubles up as two, I guess. But Traunt and Private Beans, and those are like, they should have made DLCs based off of both of them. They are both, well, Private Beans, I guess, is dead, but still, they should have done something, because man, they were amazing villains. Honestly, one of them should have just been the main villain. If that was the case, I think Borderlands 3 would have gone over a lot better villain slash story wise, to be honest. Like, people would have loved it. They were side villains that definitely deserve to be main ones for sure. The Traunt thing, I mean, it would have been so good to make a DLC or even a small like headhunter type sized DLC about where it's just like the Traunt family. I think Killer 6 said that at one point and kept trying to get Gearbox to take the idea, but never happened. I love the DLCs, by the way, that are for Borderlands 3. But yeah, anyways, so that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think down below for sure. I'm so curious to hear from all of you, and you know, feel free to tell me I'm wrong or whatever. Because I'll probably think the same thing about you if you say that you think Borderlands 2 has better story, because every time somebody says it, I want to bang my head against the wall. But that's just my opinion. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and if you stuck around this long, thank you. I really appreciate it, especially if you disagree with me, because I'm sure it's hard to listen to this if you have the thoughts that I think are just so terrible. But I appreciate all of you, I really do. And, you know, at the end of the day, even if we disagree on this or whatever, it's all respect, man. I always want to hear the different perspectives, the whatever. Like, I always want to hear everybody having different sides and just having disrespectful having respectful disagreement down below. It's a rare thing on the internet, so I implore for it to happen here in a respectful manner, because respect on the internet is just rarely found. So anyways, thank you everybody, and you know what to do with all those buttons and everything. And if you want to keep in touch and get subbed, you know, my Twitter and Instagram down below, as I said in the beginning. If you want to see me live playing video games, if you want to chat, go get the Twitch. It's down in the description below as well, and it'll alert you when I go live. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.